The invitation glows under my kitchen lights, its gold embossing catching every ray like a small sun. My fingers trace the raised lettering, but stop cold at the words that slice through my heart. Adults only, 18 plus strictly enforced, no exceptions. I set down the heavy cardstock, careful not to crumple it the way I want to. Next to Camille's wedding invitation sits Jenna's handmade card, covered in silver glitter and teenage earnestness. My daughter spent 3 hours crafting it, each sequin placed with precision, every swooping letter of "Dear Aunt Camille" written in her best calligraphy. The kitchen clock ticks in the silence. 10 minutes until Jenna comes home from school. A car door slams outside. My heart jumps. Footsteps on our front walk, then our porch. The door opens with Jenna's characteristic bang against the wall. "Mom." Her voice carries that breathless excitement only 17 can produce. "Did it come? Aunt Camille's invitation?" I reach for the envelope, but she's already spotted it. Her fingers close around the thick paper before I can hide it away. "Let me see." She pulls out the invitation, eyes bright. I watch her face as she reads, marking the exact moment joy dims to confusion, then understanding. Her shoulders drop a fraction of an inch. She doesn't want me there, does she? The question hangs between us. I flash back 13 years ago to a courthouse where I signed adoption papers for a 4-year-old with wary eyes and a habit of hiding behind furniture. My parents stood against the back wall, their smiles strained. Camille caught me in the bathroom afterward. "Are you sure about this?" she'd asked, fingers drumming against her designer purse. Single motherhood is hard enough without complications. I'd squared my shoulders, already protective of the little girl waiting outside. "She's not a complication, she's my daughter." The memory fades. I focus on Jenna now, nearly grown, trying so hard to look unbothered. But I see the slight tremor in her hand as she sets down the invitation. "It's probably easier this way," she says, voice carefully light. "More sophisticated. You know how Aunt Camille is about appearances." 3 years after the adoption, I met Marcus at a fundraiser. He'd walked straight to Jenna, crouched down, and asked about the book she was reading. No hesitation, no awkward glances at me to check if this was okay. Just pure interest in my daughter as a person. At our wedding, Jenna was our flower girl. The photos show her beaming in her mint green dress, and my family standing slightly apart, their smiles fixed. I'd told myself they needed time to adjust. I pick up a pen from the counter. The RSVP card waits, pristine and expecting. My hand doesn't shake as I check, not attending. The scratch of pen on paper sounds loud in our quiet kitchen. Warm pressure on my shoulder. Marcus. I didn't hear him come in. His hand squeezes gently as he reads over my shoulder. My phone buzzes. Mom's name lights up the screen. I silence it without looking. Another buzz. Camille this time, then Brianna. Jenna watches from the doorway, her expression a mix of worry and something else, relief. I open the bottom drawer of our china cabinet, pull out our family photo album. The evidence is there, documented in years of snapshots. Christmas gifts addressed only to Laura and Marcus. Family photos where Jenna stands at the edge, slightly out of frame. Birthday cards that arrived a week late, if at all. Page after page of a pattern I've refused to see. Jenna steps closer, peering at a photo from last Easter. "I remember that day," she says softly. "Grandma kept calling me the girl when she thought I couldn't hear." The RSVP card sits finished on my counter. Such a small thing to carry so much weight. But as I look at my daughter, brilliant, kind, creative Jenna, who deserves so much more than subtle exclusion wrapped in polite excuses, I know this time will be different. My phone buzzes again. The whole family must be burning up the group chat by now. I leave it unanswered. "Want to help me make dinner?" I ask Jenna instead. "Those new pasta you found?" Her smile breaks through, genuine this time. "Can we try the pesto one?" "Of course." I close the photo album, but not before noticing something that makes my stomach clench. The trust paperwork from Grandpa's estate tucked into the back pocket. I'd forgotten about it until now, the careful legal language excluding adopted children from inheritance. Marcus catches my eye. He's seen it too. His jaw tightens, but his voice stays gentle. I'll pick up fresh basil from the store. Jenna pulls ingredients from the cupboard, humming under her breath. She doesn't see the look that passes between her father and me, doesn't know about one more document in a long line of quiet rejections. But that's about to change. The RSVP card marks more than just a declined wedding invitation. It's my line in the sand, 13 years too late, but finally drawn. The afternoon sun slants through our kitchen window, catching the gold lettering one last time. Such a beautiful invitation, crafted to wound with perfect etiquette. I slide it into our junk mail pile. My phone buzzes yet again. I power it off completely. Mom? Jenna measures pasta into the pot. You okay? I look at my daughter, really look at her. The determined set of her jaw, so like my own. The quiet strength she's built from years of pretending not to notice. The talent and heart that my family has chosen not to see. I'm better than okay, I tell her. And for the first time in years, it's not a lie. Later that same night, the cardboard box weighs more than grief in my arms as I carry it down from the attic. Each Christmas card, each photo, each handwritten note inside catalogs 13 years of subtle wounds. I spread them across our dining room table while Marcus works late, while Jenna sleeps upstairs dreaming of art school acceptance letters. My fingers tremble on the first envelope, postmarked December 2012. To Laura and Marcus, written in mother's perfect cursive. No mention of their granddaughter, though Jenna had lived with me for months by then. I arrange it on the left side of the table. Another card from the following spring. Happy Easter to Laura and Marcus. Jenna had just won the school art contest. I'd called to tell them. They never called back. The pile grows. Year after year of carefully addressed exclusions. A birthday card for me, nothing for Jenna. A graduation announcement for Brianna's son Tommy that arrived 3 weeks after the ceremony. The invitation to the family lake house weekend that somehow got lost in the mail until the day after. My hands shake harder as I unearth the video from last Thanksgiving. I slip it into my laptop, stomach clenching as the scene unfolds. Grandma Barbara cooing over Tommy and his cousins, showering them with attention and pumpkin pie. The camera pans past Jenna, 16 years old, eating alone at the kids' table. No one speaks to her. No one even looks her way. The laptop screen blurs. I blink hard, reaching for the next item. A school essay from Jenna's freshman year. What family means to me. 2 pages about Marcus and me, her art teacher Mrs. Chen, our elderly neighbor Mr. Peterson, who always asks about her latest paintings. Not one word about grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. My phone buzzes. A text from Rachel. I've been thinking about Easter. The way Aunt Barbara kept calling Jenna the girl when she thought no one could hear. It wasn't right. I should have said something. I type back, thank you, as another text arrives. Camille this time. Mom says you're being dramatic about the wedding. It's nothing personal against Jenna. We just want a sophisticated event. The words burn like acid. I set the phone face down, turning instead to Jenna's childhood journal I found in the box. The sparkly purple cover has faded, but her careful handwriting remains clear inside. The 15th of October, 2014. Grandma gave everyone matching sweaters for Christmas pictures. She said they didn't have my size. The 3rd of March, 2015, Aunt Brianna's birthday party. Had to sit in the garage because there weren't enough chairs. The 25th of December, 2015. They forgot I don't like peanuts again. Or maybe they didn't forget. A door creaks upstairs. I freeze, listening for Jenna's footsteps, but the house settles back into silence. My eyes drift to the latest evidence. Brianna's Facebook photos from last month's family dinner. 18 smiling faces around a table laden with food. We weren't invited. Those posts are public, you know. Marcus's voice startles me. He stands in the doorway, briefcase still in hand, jaw tight as he surveys the table. Everyone can see who wasn't included. I kept making excuses, I whisper. I told myself they needed time to adjust, that it would get better. He sets his briefcase down, moving to examine a stack of Christmas cards. 13 years is a long time to wait for better. My phone buzzes again. Mother's name lights up the screen. Your father says you're not welcome for Christmas if you skip the wedding. Don't throw away family over pride. Pride. As if protecting my daughter were nothing more than vanity. A new email notification pops up. From Brianna, sent to the entire extended family. Laura's latest drama. She's always been attention-seeking, but this is a new low. Camille's wedding isn't about her or her. I can't read the rest. My finger hovers over the delete button when another email arrives. From Aunt Dorothy, the family outcast who married beneath her station and adopted a son in the 1980s. I saw what they did to you at Easter, what they've been doing all along. It drove me away 30 years ago. The pattern doesn't change unless someone breaks it. The words hit like a physical blow. I scroll through years of family photos on my phone, seeing the pattern with fresh eyes. Jenna always slightly apart, always on the edges, always almost cropped out. Marcus picks up a manila envelope I haven't opened yet. The return address shows my father's law firm. What's this? I don't. The words die as he pulls out the contents. Legal documents, the family trust paperwork I'd signed without reading carefully 5 years ago. His finger traces a single devastating line. Benefits to be distributed among blood descendants only. Adopted children are specifically excluded from inheritance. The paper slips from my numb fingers. All these years, I thought they just needed time. Just needed to know her. Just needed to see her heart, her talent, her gentle soul. But they'd written her out before they ever gave her a chance. Marcus gathers me close as the tears finally come. What do we do now? Through the window, dawn paints the sky in watercolor shades of pink and gold. The same colors Jenna uses in her sunrise paintings. I think of her portfolio, filled with beauty despite every rejection. Think of her quiet strength, her unfailing kindness to the family that never wanted her. I reach for my phone one last time. Open the family group chat. Click Leave Group. Now, I say, voice steady, we show them what real family looks like. Upstairs, Jenna's sleeping softly. She doesn't know about the trust fund, the emails, the wedding drama. Doesn't know I've spent the night excavating years of carefully hidden wounds. But she knows she's loved, and maybe that's the only inheritance that matters. A week after the wedding, Camille's wedding photos scatter across my Facebook feed like confetti. Her perfect smile, the cathedral veil, the family gathered close minus us. The absence speaks volumes. I close the laptop and push it away. My phone buzzes. 3 new messages from Mom about Christmas plans. I let them sit unread next to the 15 others from the past week. The grandfather clock in our hallway, a wedding gift from my parents, ticks away the December afternoon. Laura? 15 minutes after the message, Mom's voice rings through the front door, followed by the unmistakable rattle of her key in the lock. I forgot she still has one from last year's renovations. I brought the decorations. She bustles in, arms laden with storage bins marked Christmas in her precise handwriting. The same bins we've used for hosting family Christmas dinner the past 12 years. Her face glows with determination as she sets them down. I thought we could get an early start this year, she says, pulling out familiar strands of garland. The earlier we decorate, the longer we can enjoy it. Remember how magical it looked last Christmas? I steady my hands against the kitchen counter. We won't be needing those, Mom. What do you mean? She pauses, a glittery ornament dangling from her fingers. Of course we need them. You're hosting Christmas dinner, just like always. No. The word comes out softer than I intended. I clear my throat and try again. We've made other plans this year. The ornament slips from her grasp, bouncing once on the hardwood floor. But you always host Christmas. Not anymore. Mom's lips press into a thin line. This is about the wedding, isn't it? You're punishing all of us because Camille wanted an adults-only reception. No. I walk to my office and return with a manila folder I've been compiling. Set it on the counter between us. This is about 13 years of treating my daughter as less than family. Her eyes fix on the folder. What's that supposed to be? Evidence. My voice stays steady. Tell me, Mom, when was the last time you called Jenna your granddaughter? The front door opens again. Marcus's familiar footsteps cross the entryway, followed by the thud of his briefcase hitting the floor. He appears in the kitchen doorway, reading the tension immediately. Without a word, he moves to stand beside me. The doorbell chimes. Mrs. Henderson from next door peers through the glass, holding a plate of Christmas cookies. I wave her in, full for the interruption. Laura, dear, I wanted to drop these off and ask how Jenna's art show went. The whole neighborhood's talking about her talent. Mom shifts uncomfortably, saying nothing. Mrs. Henderson's warm smile never wavers as she sets down the cookies and asks about specific paintings, remembering details about Jenna's work that my own mother has never bothered to learn. My phone rings Rachel, offering to host us for Christmas dinner. The contrast between chosen family and blood relatives tightens my chest. Your father will be devastated, Mom tries again, desperation creeping into her voice. He looks forward to Christmas here all year. I doubt he'll notice Jenna isn't there. The words taste bitter. He never has before. That's not fair, Laura. We've tried. Have you? The dam breaks. Last Easter, you called her the girl when you thought she couldn't hear. At Thanksgiving, she sat alone at the kids' table while her 16-year-old cousins ate with the adults. Every Christmas card addressed to Laura and Marcus like she doesn't exist. The trust paperwork explicitly excluding adopted children. She's not blood, Laura. Mom's voice rises. One day she'll leave you and then what? We're just trying to protect you. The kitchen falls silent. Even the grandfather clock seems to hold its breath. Please leave. I walk to the front door, hold it open. Don't come back until you can respect my daughter. Mom's hands shake as she gathers her coat. You're making a terrible mistake. The door closes behind her with a soft click. I lean against it, tears finally breaking free. Marcus's arms wrap around me as I sob. Mom? Jenna stands in the hallway, backpack still slung over one shoulder. Her eyes are bright with unshed tears. How long have you been there? I ask. Long enough. She drops her backpack, moves closer. I never wanted to come between you and your family. I pull her into our embrace. You are my family, the only one that matters. That evening, I write the email I've been drafting in my head for weeks. No accusations, just facts, dates, events. A clear pattern of exclusion spanning 13 years. Marcus reads it over my shoulder, suggesting only minor edits to keep the tone neutral. Next, I design our Christmas card. Just the three of us, smiling in front of our fireplace. The Matthews family, printed in simple gold text. My phone lights up with a text from Brianna. Mom told us what happened. You've gone too far this time. Moments later, an email notification. Brianna has sent a message to the entire extended family. My cursor hovers over it before I click. The words fill my screen, each sentence designed to turn the family against us. The final line burns. You'll regret choosing that girl over your real family. I close the laptop, look at the Christmas bin still sitting untouched by the door. Tomorrow, we'll unpack our own decorations, the ones Jenna and I have collected over the years. We'll make new traditions with people who love her. The grandfather clock strikes 9. I unplug it, silencing its judgmental ticking. Time to let go of old obligations and embrace the family we've chosen. The next morning, my fingers hover over the keyboard, cursor blinking in the empty email draft. Through my office window, morning sunlight catches the frost on bare branches. The house is quiet. Jenna at school, Marcus at work. Just me and the weight of 13 years pressing against my chest. Subject line, to anyone who wants the full story. I open the folder beside my laptop, photographs and documents arranged in careful chronological order. The first photo shows 4-year-old Jenna at the courthouse, her small hand gripping mine. My parents stand stiffly against the back wall, their smiles not reaching their eyes. I type the date, then list the facts without embellishment. First family photo after adoption. Notice positioning of participants. Photo after photo, document after document. each one a piece of evidence I can't unsee now that I've finally allowed myself to look. Christmas cards addressed only to Marcus and me. The trust paperwork, with its careful legal language excluding adopted children. Family photos where Jenna stands at the edges, half cropped out of frame. My phone buzzes. Brianna. I silence it without looking and keep typing. Marcus finds me there hours later, still crafting each sentence with surgical precision. He reads over my shoulder, his hand warm on my back. Maybe add the Easter incident, he suggests quietly. When your mother told Jenna the egg hunt was just for real grandchildren. I add it to the list, my hands steady now. No accusations, just facts. Dates. Quotes. Photos. The truth written in black and white. The next morning, Brianna appears at my office door, her heels clicking against the tile floor. We need to talk sense into you, she announces, not bothering with hello. Do you know Mom hasn't slept since Christmas? I continue typing my report, letting her words wash over me. The gentle tapping of keys fills the silence between us. Laura, look at me when I'm talking to you. I finish my sentence, then meet her eyes. Did you know Jenna spent last Christmas alone in her room while everyone opened presents? She said she didn't feel well, but I found her sketchbook later. She'd drawn the whole family celebrating without her. Brianna's face flushes. That's not. You're twisting things. I have the drawing if you'd like to see it. She leaves without answering, her heels striking the floor like ammunition. That evening, my father calls. Your mother is beside herself about Christmas, he says, his voice heavy with disapproval. 30 years of tradition, Laura. 30 years. How many times did you call Jenna your granddaughter in those 30 years, Dad? The silence stretches between us until he hangs up. I send the email just before midnight. 6 pages of carefully documented evidence spanning 13 years of subtle exclusion. No accusations, no emotional appeals, just the quiet power of truth. The responses begin immediately. Aunt Dorothy calls, her voice thick with tears. They're furious with me for taking your side, she says. But someone had to say it. What they've done to that child. Camille's text arrives next. You're tearing the family apart over nothing. I write back one sentence. Nothing is exactly how you've treated my daughter for 13 years. The family splinters like ice in spring in the following days. Cousin Rachel stands up at Christmas dinner. I hear about it later from Aunt Dorothy. What you've done to Jenna is shameful. She tells them all. Every single one of you who looked the other way. Uncle Robert sends a private message. We adopted James in 1982. I watched the same thing happen. I should have spoken up sooner. More messages trickle in. Brianna's husband calls to apologize for her behavior. My father runs into Marcus at the hardware store, both men studying paint samples with fierce concentration to avoid speaking. Christmas dinner was strained, according to the Family Gossip Network. Empty chairs where we should have been. Questions about our absence that couldn't be smoothed over with the usual excuses. My mother tells the neighbors we're going through a phase. But I see their sideways glances when she walks past. They've all seen Jenna grow up on our street, watched her shovel their driveways and sell Girl Scout cookies. The math isn't hard to do. A week after New Year's, the first attempt at reconciliation arrives. Camille's text. I didn't mean to hurt Jenna's feelings. My father's voicemail. This has gone on long enough. My mother sends a generic gift card for Jenna, the first acknowledgement of her existence as a grandchild. The envelope sits unopened on our counter. Brianna suggests a family meeting to clear the air. Her tone implies we're being difficult by refusing. I send the same response to each overture. Acknowledgement is not the same as respect. Our Christmas with our chosen family fills the house with genuine warmth. Jenna's art hangs proudly in the local gallery's youth showcase. Marcus gets a promotion at work, and we celebrate without the weight of family obligations pressing down on our joy. I feel lighter than I have in years. The freedom of finally speaking truth sits in my chest like sunlight. Then the invitation arrives. Heavy cream cardstock, formal calligraphy, a family intervention masquerading as reconciliation. I recognize it for what it is. Their final attempt to force us back into old patterns, to restore the comfort of our silence. I want to go with you, Jenna says, watching me read it. I want them to see who I really am. I study my daughter's face, the quiet strength there, the artist's eye that has documented every subtle rejection in lines and colors. She's never been the victim they wanted her to be. Never been the outsider they tried to make her. Okay, I tell her. We'll go together. She smiles, and I see the future reshaping itself around her certainty, around our truth finally spoken aloud. The invitation sits on my desk, its formal script catching the morning light. But this time, the golden letters hold no power to wound. We've already chosen each other. Everything else is just details. I pick up my phone and text our response. We'll be there, all of us, together. The next week at the family gathering, the parlor walls press in around me as I sit rigid on Mother's antique sofa, the one she inherited from Grandma Rose. Across from me, my family assembles like a jury, Mother perched in her wingback chair, Father standing with one hand on its curved back, Camille and Brianna flanking them on the love seat. Laura. Mother's voice breaks on my name. Her hands flutter toward Jenna, then drop without completing the gesture. We need to talk about what you're doing to this family. Beside me, Jenna's portfolio rests against her leg, its leather surface cool under my palm. She sits tall, shoulders straight, chin lifted. At 17, she looks more composed than I ever managed at twice her age. What I'm doing? The words taste bitter. That's an interesting way to phrase it. Father's fingers tighten on the chair back. You've always had a flair for drama, Laura, but this tantrum has gone far enough. Camille leans forward, designer bracelet catching the afternoon light. The wedding was nothing personal against Jenna. You know how these events are. There are rules, expectations. Right. Brianna's voice drips acid. But you've always had this victim mentality. Everything has to be about you. Mother dabs at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. All our holiday traditions destroyed. Your father can't sleep. I barely eat. Is that what you wanted? I let the accusations wash over me, noting each one like entries in a ledger. The same patterns, the same manipulation, but for the first time I see them with perfect clarity. My hands remain steady in my lap. Are you finished? My voice comes out soft, but carries to every corner of the room. Because Jenna has something to say. The shock ripples through them like a stone dropped in still water. Mother's handkerchief freezes mid-dab. Father's mouth opens, then closes. They never expected Jenna to speak. In their minds, she's always been a prop in their family drama, never its narrator. Jenna rises, unzipping her portfolio with steady fingers. The sound cuts through the silence like a knife. I'd like to show you something. Her voice holds none of the tremor I'd feared. My senior art portfolio. The theme is family perspectives. She pulls out the first piece, a watercolor of last Christmas dinner. The family clusters around the dining room table, faces warm in candlelight. But at the edge of the frame, a small figure sits alone at a card table, fork suspended over a plate. The isolation radiates from every brush stroke. Mother's breath catches. Camille shifts on the love seat, the leather creaking beneath her. The next painting shows Easter brunch. Cousins hunt eggs on the lawn while adults chat on the patio. A teenage girl stands by the fence, camera in hand, documenting a celebration she's not part of. The composition draws every eye to that solitary figure. This one's called Outside Looking In, Jenna says quietly. Piece by piece, she builds her case. Each painting captures a moment of exclusion through a child's eyes. The skill is undeniable, the emotion raw and true. The family portrait takes center stage, frames within frames showing empty spaces where relatives should be. Father won't meet my eyes now. Mother's tears have stopped, replaced by something that looks like real pain. This is what you've done, I say into the silence, not with words but with actions. Every Christmas card addressed only to Marcus and me, every family photo where Jenna stands apart. Every gathering where she ate alone. Camille stares at the artwork, her perfect makeup cracking around the edges. I never realized she could. Paint? Jenna's smile holds no warmth. See? Feel? There's a lot you never realized about me. Brianna surges to her feet. This is manipulation, using art to make us feel guilty about perfectly normal family boundaries. Normal? The word explodes from my chest. When was the last time you called her your niece? When did any of you send her a birthday card? Which of you knows her favorite color, her dreams, her fears? She's not blood, Mother whispers, but the words lack conviction. Neither is Marcus. I stand, resting my hand on Jenna's shoulder. But you never questioned his place in this family. A rustle from the corner makes us all turn. Aunt Dorothy pushes up from her armchair, her silver hair gleaming in the late afternoon sun. I made this choice 30 years ago with Thomas. Chose my adopted son over my father's family traditions. Best decision I ever made. She crosses to stand beside us, her spine straight despite her 70 years. The question isn't whether Laura will come back to the fold. The question is whether you deserve to have her and this remarkably talented young woman in your lives at all. Mother's face crumbles. Father's hand falls from the chair back. Even Brianna's anger seems to deflate. Jenna's been offered a full scholarship to Rhode Island School of Design. My voice fills the heavy silence. She'll be starting this fall. That's what real family does. Supports dreams, celebrates achievements. We're not asking to be centered, just included. I gather my purse, noting how the parlor walls don't feel so confining anymore. The choice is yours now. Respect is earned. Jenna and I are a package deal. We walk out together, heads high, leaving the portfolio displayed on the coffee table. Behind us, the family sits in disarray, years of careful pretense shattered by a teenager's truth told in watercolor and oil. Are you okay? I whisper as we reach the car. Jenna pauses, her hand on the door handle. When she turns, her smile breaks through like sunrise after a storm. You know what, Mom? For the first time in that house, I really am. So, for the next 4 months, she finally healed, focused on her graduation, and was preparing for college. Now at the ceremony, the sunlight streams through the auditorium windows, catching the gold tassel on Jenna's graduation cap. The principal's voice echoes through the space, but I barely register the words. My eyes stay fixed on my daughter, poised at the edge of her seat in the front row. Marcus squeezes my hand as Jenna's name rings out. And now, your class valedictorian, Jenna Matthews. She rises in one fluid motion, the confidence in her stride making my heart swell. The emerald green graduation gown flows behind her as she takes the podium. No hesitation, no glancing around to see who's watching, just pure presence. I scan the scattered family members in the audience. Barbara sits 3 rows back, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. Aunt Dorothy beams from her wheelchair in the handicap section, while Rachel bounces her youngest on her knee. The empty seats where William and Brianna should be speak volumes. Jenna adjusts the microphone, her voice clear and steady. When people ask me about family, I tell them about seeds. She pauses, letting the metaphor settle. Some seeds we're born with, planted in soil we didn't choose, but the most beautiful gardens often grow from seeds we plant ourselves. My breath catches. Marcus's arm slides around my shoulders. My mother taught me that family isn't about whose blood runs through your veins. It's about who shows up, who sees you, who chooses you again and again, even when it's hard. Barbara shifts in her seat. I remember her voice last week, hesitant on the phone. Laura, I'd like to contribute to Jenna's art school expenses. If you'll let me, a peace offering, decades late but sincerely given. I say I'll think about it, and she nods only. It's time to celebrate. After the ceremony, we gathered at Bellini's restaurant, the same place we celebrated when Jenna won her first art competition at 12. The familiar scent of garlic and basil wraps around us like a warm blanket. Dorothy holds court at the head of the table, her silver hair catching the light from overhead chandeliers. To seeing people for who they truly are. She raises her glass, eyes twinkling, and the courage to stand by them. Camille arrives halfway through the appetizers, clutching a wrapped package. Her designer dress looks out of place among our casual celebration. I found this at an art supply store, she says, setting it beside Jenna's plate. The clerk said it's what serious artists use. Jenna opens it slowly, a set of professional oils in rich, vibrant colors. Thank you, Aunt Camille. Simple words, but genuine. Barbara watches the exchange, then pulls out an envelope. I have something too. Her hands tremble slightly as she slides it across the table. For your dorm room at Waverly. Inside lies a check that makes Jenna's eyes widen. But it's the card that brings tears, the first one Barbara has ever signed, Love, Grandma. Our neighbor Mrs. Chen arrives with her signature almond cookies, the ones she's been bringing to every Matthews family celebration since Jenna was 5. Rachel's kids cluster around Jenna, showing off the friendship bracelets she taught them to make last summer. The restaurant fills with stories. Mrs. Chen describing how Jenna helped repaint her fence, Rachel's oldest reminding everyone about the time Jenna let him be her assistant at the community art fair. Real memories, not polite fictions. Later, after we got home, in Jenna's bedroom, cardboard boxes waited to be filled for college. Art supplies, clothes, photos of chosen family scattered across her desk. I fold another shirt, trying not to think about how quiet the house will be in September. Mom? Jenna's voice pulls me from my thoughts. She holds up a framed photo, the three of us at the beach last summer, salt wind in our hair, genuine smiles caught mid-laugh. Remember what you told me when I was little? She asks. About how some people walk into our lives by accident but stay on purpose? I nod, throat tight. You didn't just adopt me, she says softly. You showed me what a real family looks like, how to build it, how to keep it. She tucks the photo carefully between sweaters in her suitcase. I'm taking that lesson to college with me. Barbara's check sits on Jenna's desk, next to acceptance letters and scholarship offers. A bridge, maybe, to whatever comes next. William's silence remains a wound, but no longer a defining one. The next morning, Jenna hugs me tight in the driveway, car packed for freshman orientation. I'm not going anywhere, she whispers. Not really. I watch her pull away, Marcus's arms steady around my waist. The garden we've grown spreads out before us, not perfect, not traditional, but blooming all the same. Built from seeds we chose to plant, nurtured by hands that wanted to tend them. Some might call it letting go, but standing here, watching my daughter drive toward her future, I know better. This isn't an ending at all. It's what happens when love takes root, when family becomes a choice instead of an obligation. When you finally understand that the most precious bonds aren't the ones you're born with, they're the ones you build day by day, choice by choice, until they're strong enough to weather any storm. We didn't lose a family. We grew a better one.